Hello, guys. Welcome to AB's World. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode. I have a special guest with me on the power of networking. This is my man, Denzel Thomas. I introduce to you a man who is from upstate New York. Denzel, why don't you tell the audience about yourself?
What up, everybody? My name's Denzel Thomas. I live in Albany, but I'm from Virginia. I'm actually up here because of work, but I connected with AB through an actual social media platform where we're just trying to make ourselves better. And from there, we just connected even more, started talking about each other as far as our goals and things of that nature. We got an understanding um, with one another. And now here we are on a podcast talking. So that's how me and AB met, and that's a little bit about me.
Love it, Denzel. Love it. And it's so great to have you because we also have a lot in common. We're both pretty much the same age and we want the same things. Why don't you tell people about how important networking is, especially for this generation?
So networking is just not knowing people, right? Networking is a skill set that one has to have. So it is very important to know how to talk, right? It's very important to know how to present yourself. Can you do an elevator pitch? It's very to know the um. Am I back? I'm back.
Get
Can
back.
y'all hear
I
me?
hear you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's very important to know that your surroundings, right? So you have to understand, hey, I'm in this type of setting. This is how I need to act, dress, speak. And so it's very important to understand all of those skill sets, and those all play a part into networking.
I love it. Can I add something?
Go ahead.
Okay. I also want to add that it's also important to know how to network for all industries, not just one industry, such as, let's say, somebody's doing door to door sales. They're doing this whole um, solar panels. You're familiar with the solars, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Or somebody's going to try to sell you a product from Verizon or, the government phones, like the Obama phones.
Yep,
You
yep.
still have to know how to network and market the products. Am I right?
100%. You got to know the products 100%. Yes.
And I think that a lot of people today don't really understand that it's not just talking to somebody and having that 1 second conversation is super important to get their attention, but it's also the impact that you're going to make on that person and the value that you're going to be able to provide. Like, this is the first time I'm meeting you on my podcast, and we're actually having a man to man conversation about things that are relevant into the modern day society, such as networking on different social media platforms. It doesn't just have to be Instagram or Twitter, it could be LinkedIn, it could also be TikTok, and it could also be Snapchat. I know a lot of people now are also making money on Snapchat. My life coach was telling me that Snapchat is getting a lot of attention right now.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%, man. Like it's networking is so broad. It reaches out into many different hemispheres, right? You could go into social, you could go into door to door, you could go into job specific, you could go into travel. Like it's a branch. It's a tree that branches off into many different areas of our lives that one may not even consider it networking, but it is networking and it is a skill that everyone should have. everyone develops it as a kid, but how do you broaden it or how do you sharpen it is really the question.
And I think people get confused with networking too as also becoming friends. I can network with you and not be
Mm,
your friend. I don't know
mm,
you well enough to say, hey, I'm your friend. I am doing real estate right now. I got my license, which is great. And I am speaking to a few people on the job, and they seem very inspired that I got the real estate license. And I think that the most important thing, as well as networking, is to never judge a person by a cover. If a person works at McDonald's, don't ever assume that that person is broke. You don't know anything about that person. You don't know what their
mm.
income status is. You don't know what their situation is. And I think that it's very, very important to know your audience and ask the
Yeah,
right questions. Not the good questions, the right questions. Because at the end of the day, you're here to help them. You're not here to help yourself. And I just want people to have an open mind when speaking to a diverse group of people. They need to take everything into consideration. I see things on Instagram that make me very angry, Denzel. I see a lot of scamming going on in New York City
mm,
when it comes to application fees for apartments, charging like one, two, three, $400. That is 100% illegal. And if that
wow.
person gets caught, not only will they get a fine and most likely go to jail, their license will be revoked and suspended, depending on the situation.
Jeez.
Don't take the easy road out. Ask the right questions. Learn how to use proper vocabulary words so you can communicate efficiently, so you know how to have an effective conversation, so you can actually make an impact on that 1 second conversation. Somebody may not be looking for a house now, but they may be looking for a house in the summer. Because that's what happened with me and one of my friends.
Hmm.
My friend lives in the city and he wants to move back to Brooklyn. That's his goal. My goal is to, you know, make as many sales as I can in real estate. But in order for that to happen, I got to be speaking to a certain amount of people in order for me to reach my goal, because I know that somebody's going to be looking for a house sooner than later.
Yeah.
It may not be now, because it's winter time right now. We're in February. It may not be today where this person is looking for a house right now and they have 5 kids in school and they want to move to a more of a suburban area. That's not how it works.
Definitely. And I think also part of networking is understanding it's marketing, right? It's marketing. It falls under that umbrella. And sometimes in marketing, people's going to say no. A lot of times, right? It's going to be a lot of no's before you get yeses. But that doesn't mean you stop, right? That doesn't mean, hey, I stopped at my first no, or you know what, this person doesn't want it, so I'm not going to reach back out to them. It's more of you being consistent in what you love doing. And that shows a different type of character um, to your skill of networking. It shows a different level of character to that person as well. And so I think for the most part that when you start to develop a healthy discipline of networking, right? It doesn't matter if somebody says yes or no. You don't have the fears of that anymore. I think you now become above average than the rest of your opponents or opposition. And that is a clear estimate to say. Very clear. So when you got your real estate license, right? How long did it take for you to get your real estate license? How many tries did it take?
Thank you for asking that question. I love it. I am not the greatest test taker because I have fear of test. I have
Hmm.
fear of test because I get very antsy and I can't sit for very long. And it literally took me 3 years to pass. It took me 11 tries. And Denzel, I always said 100% that I would have my real estate license. And I said, and you know how I passed? I'm going to tell you how. Not because I focused, because I changed my attitude towards the test. I made friends with the
Mm,
actual test. I had a strategy. My strategy was forget about what anyone tells me. Take the strategy that you know, that you're familiar with and you're comfortable with, which was
mhm,
flashcards, repetition. Keep doing it
mhm.
over and over and over. It's like you're literally feeding fish oil to your brain. You're feeding
Yeah.
brain food, doing the review every single night, 3 to 5 times, reading the vocabulary words, working with my tutor to help me get to the next step so I could fully have a better idea, to be more confident and say, hey, I don't want to take the test anymore. This is the last time. That's the mentality
Mm,
that I'm going to have with the career when it comes to a career or people. A lot of men are fear of rejection. I'm not fear of rejection. What I'm trying to understand is what people are looking for and what they want. And I want to be the
mhm.
guy to provide these services. The thing is that I don't have a whole bunch of knowledge because I just been taking the test so much. Now I'm starting to get a little bit more knowledgeable in terms of different types of real estate, whether it's commercial, residential, condominiums, luxury apartments, houses, and duplexes as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So you have to really know your client. I don't even like to say customer, your client. I say that because I want to bring my mom into this conversation because this is what I'm telling you about networking. My mom sold her house last year in May, and
Okay.
the realtor was very, very knowledgeable. My mom and her were very good friends, and my mom had a little bit of a tricky situation in terms of the legal aspects. She was getting a divorce from my dad, and
Mhm.
the court, basically told my mom she needed to be out of the house at a certain time because they were going to split the house between her and my dad. And my mom was very scared that she wasn't going to be able to find a house like this. One, two, three.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really find houses like that. You feel me? So
Yeah.
we have to work smarter and come up with a strategy and find out how we can actually get you approved for different types of apartments and go along with the process. Because I know this, um, I don't know about other states. See, I'm not knowledgeable with like Virginia, New Jersey. I know New York. They have something called the board, which is a
Yeah.
whole bunch of people, right? Maybe like 10, 15 people, I guess. And they own like a stock in that building. And they're the ones that are going to be able to determine if they're going to rent you the spot there or not. I don't think
Mhm.
that's necessarily fair. And I'll tell you why. I don't think it's fair for a lot of reasons. Reason number one, I see that they discriminate a lot of people. And I don't think that's right. Because if you have the money to move into one of these places, they should let you move in. And I
Right.
think that they do things for their own interest, and they're not really looking out for the individual that's trying to move in. So those are four
Mm,
things to me that really bother me about co-ops.
okay.
Because
And so,
you have to deal with a lot of people, and then if they mess up your paperwork, that's on you. Because at the end of the day, nobody's really going to look over what they're doing. You have to know what you're looking for, and I see a lot of times the client is very, they shrug their shoulders like what I'm doing now, or they're going to look down. They have no idea. You have to go to the neighborhood that you want. Go there at night, go there in the morning, go there in the afternoon, go there when it's busy, go there when it's not busy. You got to do your own diligence. A realtor can only do so much. A realtor is a person that's going to do a transaction and knows about the house that he's selling you or renting to you. That's what a
Hmm.
realtor does. It's a transaction.
Yeah. And just to go back to um, that stating of like, it took you 3 years, but you had reasons of why you wanted to be real estate. You know what I'm saying? It was different situations that came up, but in those 3 years, yes, you didn't take that no for an answer. Just think about if you would have just stopped at the first no, where
I
would
don't
you have
stop
been?
at the same at the first no. It took me a long time to get my GED. And I knew I was gonna
See?
get it. You see, people judge me because I'm not confident within myself. Not because I took the test a million times. The same thing with the road test. It's make friends with the test. Make friends with your enemies within. I didn't say to kiss them or, make lovey dovey in terms of like when a man becomes in desperation. You have to be conscious over here of your audience.
Yeah, and most definitely with that, I just want to make sure we looking at this as the network. We not saying, hey, after the first no, we just stop the network aspect. We're just allowing people to see, okay, it may take a few times for you to actually prevail in this situation. And there are going to be situations that make you want to become certain things so that you can now be a source of alleviation, right? So for you, right, you became a real estate because of the situation that your mom was going through and things of that nature. And that person wasn't very knowledgeable. And that was something that you looked at and was admirable, or you looked at it as admiration. And you took that with you. You took that part, you honed it. Okay, cool. You know what? I'm going to go get mine at the same time. Now you in a city, right? Where residents, it's a lot of residents in your city, right? Y'all
We
have
have like
one of the,
around 8, 9 million people.
right, one of the most populated cities in the US, right? And so we're looking at like, yeah, why not get your real estate? Why not? There's 9 million people, you say? Why not network? This is something that's going to be big for you, you know? So that's the power right there. Excuse me.
That's okay. It's just crazy. Oh, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Just had
I
to,
said it's
I'm
just
fighting this
crazy.
cold.
I know, man. It's the change of weather. It's crazy because I didn't do anything yet for the real estate. I just hit up
Mm,
like two people and I didn't like do anything drastic. I just been working so much at the post office and I
yeah,
have a really good mentor of mine who's my broker who I'm going to be working with and I really just want to go through my contacts and see who I can help and I think that so many men they don't want to open up. They don't want to be vulnerable in terms of breaking out of their shell.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can't be you
and
can't be fear of rejection. You can't.
not at all. And I think that is something that's very powerful. That's a powerful statement that you have stated, right? Because I just said the same thing like twice, but
That's okay.
it's very powerful because shame is something that keeps you bound, right? It's something that's internal. Um, One of the things that I usually say that I heard from somebody else is I'm more scared of a living God than a dead skeleton.
100%.
And so, and I think that stayed with me since I've heard it. that stay with me. But one thing about shame, you have to get rid of that. And when you become vulnerable and you can actually share your experiences and don't care about what people are going to say or judge you, you now have power over your life and you have reign over your life where people are actually now drawn to you because they're like, oh, he's being truthful, oh, he's sincere, oh, he's genuine. Now I can trust him and now I can share my experiences. And now look at this. Now you have opened up another door of network opportunity to other people that can actually relate to you. So use your life experiences as like a tool to really edify who you are so that people can actually see that and actually enjoy your story and say, you know what, I feel like I'm free by listening to you, you know?
That's why I work at the post office. Like, I think that it's really good to market and to network over there. They are
Hmm.
pro networking. I actually met a really nice gentleman, and he actually does real estate and life insurance. And he told me he would love to do business with me, and he gave me his card. That doesn't mean that I'm this guy's friend or I'm the supervisor's friend. You want to get on people's good side. You want people to
Right.
like you. You want to get you
Hmm.
want them to respect you and your ambition.
Yep. 100%.
This world
It,
that we're living in right now, and I'm really speaking about 2025, the modern day world with social media, AI, and Chat GBT, Google. I didn't even get to like this new Chinese AI. I didn't even get there. We are a very
hmm.
transactional world right now.
Yes. Yes.
We are
Yeah. Yeah.
extremely transactional. Look at this, my guy. I could go on my phone after we hang this episode of the power of networking, and I could go buy crypto. I could literally send you money on Zelle or Venmo
Hmm.
or Apple Pay.
Hmm.
This world is
Hmm.
very transactional. There is no limit to how much money we can make. We limit ourselves. And I think that we all like to play the victim card. Even me. Even me as a man, I've been playing victim for a while. And I just turned 30 on Friday, and I said, "Look, man, this shit is over, bro. Like, if the past wants to haunt me down, I don't care. As long as I'm doing better than yesterday, and I set my priorities
Hmm.
straight with the goals,
Yeah.
and I give it my best, and I don't
Yeah.
slack off. Have a purpose of why you're actually doing something. Don't just do things because X, Y, and Z told you to do it.
Right.
That's what
Right.
I was, saying to you before, that people need to think for themselves. It's a problem when people are programmed. It's a problem.
Mm. Yeah. And that's a whole nother topic in itself, right? That
Well,
requires
look, the
some
power of
other attention.
networking. Look,
Right.
the power of the mind. The power of the mind. It's very, very important to have standards and to
A
think
hundred percent.
for
A
yourself.
100%. Yeah. I was on more so the unprogramming mind, that wavelength, but I can definitely see how it has now became intertwined with the power of networking. Yes, how you're programmed, your actual environment, your settings, and things of that nature do play a part in how you think. Yes, that is 100% true. Um, but you have the power to change that,
We all
and you have
do.
the power. Right, everybody does. Nobody is lacking. Right, you have the mental capabilities to change your life. Right now, whether you want to stay where you're at is up to you. Me personally, I was telling AB this before we got on the call. I didn't want to travel. I did not want to travel. I was good at staying in Virginia. I did not care to travel, but I was put in a predicament where I was forced to travel. And from there, I was my first. country that I seen outside of the U.S. was actual Scotland. It was Scotland. And so from there, I was like, oh, traveling is not bad. That was December of 2019. So at that time, I'm like, okay, now I want to travel more. Now I started to learn, like, oh, these people are like this, and oh, his phone died. um, since it's still recording, it's recording me. But it was more so of like, okay,
Shit.
I travel to Scotland. These people are like this. This culture is like this. And let me expand my knowledge on the culture. Let me expand my actual language, right? So I started learning different languages. And from there, it was more so of, hey, I love to travel. Let me start traveling more and more and more and more. And hence why I'm here now in New York. I don't know what to do after this. He just disappeared on me. So um,
Shit.
I think we should call that
What
a night
happened?
there. All in all, recap for real is just understand there is a power to networking. And as long as you utilize your knowledge, your wisdom, and your surroundings, you could go further. And that's all.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The
Hey man.
That's wild. We had such a good episode. It's telling me, please wait a moment for like 5 minutes. I don't want to leave, bro, because this is our episode.
I mean, I saw you left. You said no one else is inside the studio. I was like, okay, well, it's still recorded. So I finished my story and then I gave a recap and then.
What should I do, bro?
Uh,
I don't know what to do.
well, it's at 64% uploaded.
Should I exit it out?
I think, if anything, just give a part two.
Oh my